to is fitting the pinion to the motor, which I'm not going to do until I've got the motor in, which is part 43 and then 44 putting the casing back together. So we're going to go all the way to 44, but we've got to take a load of screws out to get this cap off to start with. Now I have noticed the casing is plastic, so that, and all the gears inside are metal, but they're not. I've been truthful, I've popped the gearbox and I've added grease, and this is what it sounds like. Not the smoothest of sounding gearbox. Hopefully when it's running it will sound a bit better. So I might, once it's on the chassis, do a static run and put some power for it. Yeah, so you've got to remove the screws around the top. Hopefully I've done this right. And then you've got two that goes downwards. There it is off. Yeah, it's hopefully you can see it moving. There's definitely not a lack of grease, that's one thing for certain. Now we're going to put the motor in. And see what it wants. Right. Okay. We're going to tack it on for a sec. Right. This is going to prove some fun. Oh, it does say fits backwards. Let's get a little bit of thread lock on this. It's quite a loose fit this is. And then I'm going to try and line it up this way. Now that's spot on lined up. As long as the cover still goes on, should be alright. Yeah, it's a good line. At least with the design of the cover, it's easy to set up. And we need some M36s. M36. little bit of thread lock on these. It's not going to be easy to sight this. You know, to do it, let's loosen it off, go in tight and slightly off. There we go. Tighten it on one and see what we've got. This is the thing, you can't tell if you've got wobble. I'm going to try and jam the gear in. That sounds too much, doesn't it? Yeah, we've got a bit of wobble. Hopefully that's not too bad. And then all we've got to do is put the cover back on. Yeah, I've gone with a 35 turn. I don't like them quick, trailing. But this concludes up to part 44. Now stage 45 is fitting on the engine bracket, and that's with two little countersunk screws. Nice and simple. We're going into plastic again, so no thread lock. And there we go, that completes that. So that's part 45. Now we're going to go through 46, 47, 48, and it's to fit an M3 10 pin grub to fit the coupling, and then we put it in onto the gearbox, connecting it onto the shaft with another 310 pinion. So I'm going to go up in the world with this. Hopefully that's a bit better. Yeah, this is quite simple. Just slide it on. And I've already checked, they're threaded both sides, so you haven't got to worry about what side is correct. It will go in. And then we've got to lower it into the chassis. And yeah, looking at it, I'm confusing myself. No, it's correct. You've got to get it in, like so, because you remember you've got one mount on, one mount off, and then try and get the drive shaft on as well. So it might be better to try and line up the drive shaft and then hook it in like so. Ah, I've lost the pin. Let's get another one out. I did have a pin ready, but I don't know where I've put it. That's weird. It's probably stuck to me because I had thread lock on it. We'll use another one and I'll go hunting for it in a sec. And there we go, the coupling is in, and that completes up to an inclusive of part 48. Part 49, 50 is putting in the gearbox screws. I've only got one screw, so I've put one in temporary, and I put the two ones into the plastic the other side. So that completes us up to part 50, and part 51 I'm not going to show, it's just fitting the other shock absorber. Now the next stage is, let's say 52, 53, 54, 55, which is just mounting the drive shaft. So I'm not too worried on showing you that because it's just a pin on the drive shaft in. The only thing I will be getting, because I'm not going to use thread lock for now, is I'm going to get some heat shrink, because they got these horrible metal bands. And this one's bulging already, so what I will do is get some heat shrink the right size, and I will cover them and shrink it over to hold those bands in place. There we go, the drive shafts are done, and that is up to part 55. But like I said, I'm going to be taking them off again, so I've just loosely screwed them on. But there you can see them. So it is a case of once I've got the heat shrink, I'll make those, like I said, cover those springs over.